Today we will be discussing about how a race, America, created the Interstate Highway System. Anyway, let's get into the video. In 1919, a convoy of military vehicles embarked on a daring cross-country journey. Their mission? To test the limits of America's road system and assess whether the nation was ready for the demands of modern transportation. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. This 62-day ordeal wasn't just a test of machines. It became a movement in history that paved the way for the creation of the Interstate Highway System that we know today. Known as the Transcontinental Convoy, they set out on an expedition which was an attempt to drive 3,251 miles across American land. Starting in Washington, D.C., the convoy faced nearly every obstacle: muddy trails, broken bridges, mechanical failures, and roads that were little more than just wagon paths. By the time they reached San Francisco, it was clear that America's infrastructure was in crisis. The convoy wasn't just a test of roads, it was a test of the vehicles at the time, like the Dodge Brothers touring cars, Liberty trucks, and Harley-Davidson motorcycles that formed the convoy. Each had to be adapted to handle the harsh conditions. The Dodge cars required reinforced suspension and extra fuel tanks to navigate the rough, unpaved terrain. Liberty trucks, built during use of World War I, were rugged, but struggled with their wooden wheels and steel rims, which often cracked or sank into the mud. Harley-Davidson motorcycles were used for reconnaissance and were equipped with larger tires and stronger frames, but still needed frequent roadside assistance. Mechanics traveled with the convoy, constantly repairing blown tires, broken axles, and overheated engines. One of the participants of this grueling journey was a young Army officer named Dwight D. Eisenhower. The convoy had left a lasting impression on him. Eisenhower saw firsthand how inadequate roads were and slowed progress and jeopardized national defense. Decades later, this experience would inspire him to transform the nation's transportation system. Fast forward to the 1940s, during World War II, Eisenhower witnessed the German Autobahn, a system of network, high-speed, well-constructed highways that allowed for rapid troop movement. It was a revelation. He realized that a similar system in the U.S. wasn't just desirable, it was essential. And when Eisenhower became president in 1953, he made an infrastructure priority, as in 1956, he signed the Federal Highway Act, which authorized the construction of 41,000 miles of interstate highways. This wasn't just about convenience, it was about national defense, as highways would enable troops and supplies to move more quickly in case of war or an emergency. The Interstate Highway System didn't just change the way America moved, it changed the way that Americans lived. By the late 1950s and 60s, road trips had become a national pastime. Families packed into station wagons and headed out to explore the country. Motels, diners, and roadside attractions sprang up to cater to the new wave of highway travelers. Americans were no longer confined to their local towns and cities. For the first time, people could comfortably and quickly travel coast to coast, discovering landmarks like the Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, and the beaches of California. This golden age of road trips gave a rise to the entire culture centered around the open road. Cars became more than just a means of transportation. They were symbols of freedom and exploration. Automakers responded to the growing demand by building larger, more comfortable vehicles, perfect for those long highway journeys. But the story doesn't end there, as by the 1980s, the Interstate Highway System was mostly complete. However, new challenges began to emerge. The rise of urban sprawl led to heavier traffic and environmental concerns, and led to need for constant maintenance of aging infrastructure. As tragedies like the 2007 collapse of the I-35 bridge in Minneapolis served as a stark reminder that even the most ambitious projects need regular upkeep. The federal government responded with infrastructure bills aimed at repairing and modernizing aging highway systems, but funding often fell short. As by the 2010s, the system faced some of its toughest challenges. Urban congestion grew worse as cities expanded, and interstates built in the 60s and 70s struggled to keep up with the sheer volume of traffic. The daily commute became a test of patience for millions of Americans, as major highways in cities like Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Houston saw record-breaking delays. Compounded the problem, where many stretches of the interstate were showing their age. Crumbling bridges, pothole-filled roads, and outdated designs meant that highways of the past were increasingly incompatible with the demands of the 21st century. States scrambled to fund repairs and expansions, with some implementing toll roads or public/private partnerships to cover the costs. Major projects like the Big Dig in Boston and the modernization of interchanges across the country highlighted the scale of the challenges, yet as infrastructure improved in some areas, other regions were left behind, unable to secure the funding for the necessary upgrades. The 2010s also saw an impact of urban sprawl reach new heights as suburbs expanded further from city centers, and interstates designed to connect major cities were now serving as local commuter roads, straining their capacity even further. The story of America's highways is one of a constant evolution, shaped by the demands of the times, from the grueling journey of the 1919 convoy to the congestion and construction projects of today. The interstate system remains a vital artery for the nation. What began as a muddy, treacherous journey across America has grown into a network that connects us all. The highways that we rely on today are a testament to the vision of those who saw potential for a united, mobile nation, and the ongoing efforts to ensure that they remain the backbone of American life. As from the seeds planted in 1919 when a convoy struggled across unpaved trails to the sprawling network that we rely on today, the Interstate Highway System is a story of ambition, resilience, and innovation. It revolutionized transportation, fueled economic growth, and connected a vast nation like never before. Yet as we've seen, this network faces ongoing challenges: aging infrastructure, growing congestion, and the constant need for modernization. Still, the interstates remain a symbol of American ingenuity and determination. They're more than just roads. They're lifelines that link people, places, and possibilities that we could never dream of. As we look into the future, we see that the past reminds us that investing in infrastructure isn't just about solving today's problems, it's about solving tomorrow's problems as well. Anyway, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like down below. And if you really like this video, consider subscribing. And if you have any interstate travel stories, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.